The Law of Money, Chapter 10. The Family Money Field, Revising Inherited Truth Without Losing Its Soul. In both Eastern and Western traditions, there is an unspoken understanding. No one begins life as a blank page. In the East, a person is born into a stream of ancestors, duties, unseen debts, and blessings. In the West, a person is shaped by family systems, early conditioning, and unconscious belief. Different languages, same insight. We arrive already written upon. Money enters our lives through that same doorway. Long before money becomes something we earn, it is something we inherit emotionally, and not in the form of wealth or poverty alone, but in attitude, posture, and meaning. Money does not simply pass from hand to hand. It passes from mind to mind, from fear to fear, from hope to hope. This invisible inheritance is what we may call the family money field. Why our ancestors' beliefs were once true. In Eastern teaching, ancestors are not romanticized, they are understood. Each generation did what was necessary to survive its time. What they believed about money was not philosophical, it is practical. If your ancestors lived through instability, scarcity, or loss, caution became wisdom. Saving became morality. Spending became dangerous. Holding tightly to money felt like holding tightly to life. If your parents struggled to rise socially or financially, discipline and endurance became sacred. Comfort was postponed. Pleasure felt irresponsible. Money was earned through effort, not ease. From Western psychological view, these beliefs were adaptive truths. They helped people endure their environment. They kept families intact. They protected dignity when dignity was threatened. So the first step unlearning is not rebelling, it is respect. We must first understand that what we inherited was once right. When survival wisdom becomes a limitation, but truth in both Eastern or Western philosophy is never static. Confucius spoke of harmony, not rigidity. Buddhism teaches impermanence. Western thinkers of Aristotle to Jung remind us that growth requires revision. A truth that once saved us, now later confined us. What protected one generation may restrict the next. When survival beliefs remain active in a world that no longer requires them, they turn into a quiet resistance. Money is no longer welcome. It is monitored, judged, and tested. We begin to repel money not because we dislike it, but because it threatens our inherited sense of order. If money comes too easily, we distrust it. If money grows too large, we feel unsafe. If money rests too calmly, we feel unproductive. The old belief whispers, this is not how it works. There is loyalty to the lineage. The Eastern thinking loyalty to ancestors is sacred. To do better than one's parents can feel like arrogance. To live with ease can feel like forgetting sacrifice. This is why many people unconsciously cap their success. They do not want to dishonor the suffering that came before them, so they keep struggling alive, not consciously but energetically. Money senses this tension, feels unwelcome, like a guest who has overstayed. Yet Eastern wisdom does not ask us to repeat suffering, it asks us to complete it. To honor ancestors is not to imitate their wounds, it is to allow their endurance to finally bear fruit. The West's responsibility to revise belief. Western philosophy brings a complementary truth. Awareness grants responsibility. Once you see a belief clearly, you are no longer innocent in obeying it blindly. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, not separation from family, but consciously differentiation. You do not cut yourself off from the past, you carry it forward with choice. Many beliefs operate the same way. When you realize I am living by rules formed by a different era, a quiet authority awakens. You are no longer merely a descendant, you become a translator between generations. Learning was passive, unlearning is conscious. We learn about money passively through tone, through reaction, through what was praise and what was fear. Unlearning cannot happen passively. It requires attention. You begin by noticing, not correcting, your responses to money. When money arrives, do you tense or soften? When you spend, do you feel joy or guilt? When money rests, do you trust or rush? These reactions are the living language of the family money field. Eastern practice teaches observation without judgment. Western practice teaches inquiry without shame. Together, they form a powerful method, gentle awareness, revising truth without disrespect. Here's the balance many people miss. You do not say, my ancestors were wrong. You say, my ancestors' truth belonged to their time. You do not erase their discipline, you remove the fear attached to it. You do not discard their humility, you release the guilt attached to it. You do not abandon generosity, you restore boundaries to it. This is a revision, not rejection. Money responds well to revision because revision tells money you are allowed here without drama. Why money is repelled by inner conflict. Money does not like contradiction. When one part of you wants abundance, but another part feels it is unsafe or undeserved, money hesitates. Not out of judgment but confusion. It senses desire mixed with guilt, gratitude mixed with fear, ambition mixed with loyalty conflicts. This mixed signal creates resistance. When your inner truth becomes coherent, when wanting, allowing, and receiving align, money flows more naturally. This is not mystical, this is relational. Money, like people, prefers clarity. Relearning the role of money in both Eastern and Western wisdom, money is not meant to define virtue. In the East, wealth without harmony leads to imbalance. In the West, wealth without consciousness leads to emptiness. The revised truth sits in between. Money is a circulating energy, not a moral test. It is allowed to come. It's allowed to stay. It's allowed to grow. It's allowed to move on. When money no longer carries ancestral fear or inherited guilt, it becomes lighter, and light things move easily, becoming a quiet bridge. You do not need to announce this shift. In Eastern teaching, the biggest change is silent. In Western psychology, integration is subtle. You simply live differently. You hold money with steadiness. You make decisions without apology. You honor your roots without being bound by them. And slowly, the family's money field adjusts. What you leave behind. One day, someone in your family will grow up with a calmer nervous system around money. They will not feel torn between loyalty and growth. They will not equate suffering with virtue. They will not fear abundance. They will simply inherit the revised truth. This is the legacy. The family money field is not something to escape, it is something to refine. When Eastern reverence meets Western awareness, money no longer feels like a threat to identity. It becomes what it was always meant to be, a respectful guest, a useful tool, a quiet ally. And when money is no longer resisted by the past, it has no reason to stay away from the present. I hope you understand this and let it digest in. And please help me to click subscribe to my channel. Thank you.